Hello everyone, it's John Brewer. I'm a Qigong teacher and a Tai Chi teacher as well, and have done so here at Wellness Within for almost 4 years now. The first 3 years in person here in this very room, and then lately, the past few months because of COVID, in the same room which has been transformed into a recording studio. So yes, I'm delighted to be here, and I'm just delighted too that you have clicked on this YouTube video because I love to share Qigong. Qigong, cultivation of life force energy. And the components of Qigong that we'll be working with today include breath or breathing practice, movement, self-massage, and meditation. Many times the very same activity can incorporate 2 or 3 or even all 4 of those components. So I've been presenting, now this is my 6th video, and I've been presenting what I'm calling 10-minute routines. So there'll be 4 different practices that could be done in as little as 10 minutes. At the same time, as a 10-minute routine, it's a little menu of 4 activities that I invite you to just pick one of those activities and practice that whenever it feels right, called a momentary method. So trying to make this very accessible, and you can tailor it in a way that suits you the best. Okay, then let's move into today's 4 practices. I'm going to start with breathing or breath practice. Something we do just without thinking, and then we can be mindful of and support our health and happiness through the very simple act of conscious breathing. So let's begin by simply noticing. Just notice your breathing right now in this moment. And take a moment internally to describe your breathing right now. Would you describe it as a deep, full, flowing breath in and out, or more shallow? Just noticing your breathing and what's going on in your body. So let's just take one conscious full breath together, just a single breath together, breathing in and breathing out. This we can call the remembering breath. At any point in any day, from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to sleep, you can choose to remember and consciously take a deep breath. It has marvelous health benefits, even a single breath. We can also, in the space of just a minute or a few minutes, create a breathing practice. And today we'll do something called 3 conscious breaths. And by the way, in addition to this video that you're viewing right now, beneath that, beneath the video on the YouTube channel, you'll see each of the 4 practices I'm teaching, plus links to additional resources. And I invite you to click on those when you have the time and the inclination. So let's be conscious about our breathing and using our entire diaphragm, our entire breathing apparatus, to take 3 deep conscious breaths. And one way we're going to do that is just go ahead and place your hands on your belly, your abdomen, about the belly button level. Take a breath in. And now just contract your stomach muscles and take a complete out breath. And from this complete out breath, breathe in. Feel your belly kind of pop out a little bit as the diaphragm lowers, and continue breathing all the way to the top of your lungs. Hold just a hair and then breathe all the way out, using your muscles of your stomach to kind of force out all the air there. Okay, hold there for a sec. So we're taking that big inhale and that full exhale. And when we're doing that, we are bringing in fresh qi on the inhale. And when we're exhaling, we are releasing stagnant qi. So really the breath is part of our body's purification system. So let's do 3 of these where we're starting now. Just going to do 3, and when we get to the top of the in-breath, just take half second there and just take a couple extra sips when you think you're at the top. Think you're at the top? Sip in a couple of breaths, and then on the out breath, force the air all the way out, and then take a couple of out breaths like just really supporting ourselves to get that full in breath and that full out breath. Breathing out, all the way out, and breathing in. Stomach pops out, continue breathing all the way to the top of the lungs. Do extra in breaths, and then breathe all the way out. All the way out. 2 more on your own. And relax. So this can be a breathing practice, just 3 breaths that you can do as a formal breathing practice. And little by little, you may find that you start taking fewer breaths per minute. Typically, most of us breathe fairly shallowly, 5 to 7 breaths a minute, whereas if we can increase that to 10 to 12 breaths a minute, we're supporting our health in so many ways. One is the balancing of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic systems. So having more of the capacity to reduce stress, get into that rest and digest space, have more capacity to be responsive versus reactive, and many other positive benefits. All right, moving from our breathing practice, now having opened up our breathing, we're going to move into a movement that serves lots of purposes. Be standing for this. It's called the grounding flow. There's a great link beneath that you can click on. The fellow teaching it, it's only a 6-minute video. And he's got some beautiful music in the background. He's a very good teacher, recommend it. And it's called grounding flow. And so what we're going to do is have our feet about shoulder width apart, maybe a little wider. Beautiful set of movements. You know, we're going to incorporate the movement with the breath. It'll be beautifully meditative at the same time. Now, if it's possible to squat down a little bit, bend the knees, and as if you're sitting back onto a stool, if it's possible, if it's not uncomfortable. If it is uncomfortable, just find a comfortable position to be in. But if you can, do a little bit of a squat. Give that a try, because we are going to be able to access this for grounding purposes. Just support us to, when things get a little hairy in life and difficult and challenging, sometimes it's a great thing to do to get grounded to our lovely planet Earth. It's also a way to release what's not serving and drawing in fresh energy. So now we're going to start here. With an in-breath, as we breathe in, our arms float up parallel. And then as we breathe out, we sink down, bending and then gathering from earth. Have that sense of gathering the beautiful, precious life force energy of the earth up to the heart. Palms face out, breathing out. Palms parallel to the ground, and then breathing in, hands up above your head on the in-breath, and in this position do your out-breath. Relax your shoulders. On the in-breath, come back to starting position. In-breath, out-breath. Gather, in-breath. Press out, releasing what doesn't serve, extending out into the biosphere. In-breath, opening up your heart to receive only good. Out-breath, sharing the goodness of life with those you love. And in-breath. I'll just concentrate on the breath now. So that in-breath goes to out-breath, to in-breath, to out-breath, to in-breath, to out-breath, to in-breath. It's just two more without me talking. And relax. I'd like to do this once more with you and mention a couple of other things. So what I'd like to include as we're doing this, when that in-breath comes in here, try to get my arms straight, and we're doing our out-breath. It's just this connection with the earth, and it's an out breath, so we can have a sense of releasing and then gathering in and filling the heart up with life force energy and releasing what doesn't serve and drawing in what does serve. Full out breath here and in breath back to starting position. And as we are bending forward to gather, when we come back up, we can use our stomach muscles to kind of unfold back to erect posture, pressing out, breathing in. In this sense, we're opening up to receive goodness like a flower receives goodness from the sun. And breathing out, just like a flower transpires, releasing. And that, in their case, CO2, oxygen, in our case, CO2. One more time. And then, just drawing your feet together, take a moment to notice. Here we capitalized on our first practice of deep breathing that we got going when we did our breathing practice. Continued deep breathing with this beautiful set of movements that you can use for the purpose of grounding. You can use for the purpose of releasing what doesn't serve, and you can use for the purpose of drawing in health, happiness, deep fulfillment of life, and as a way of releasing stress and tension, and supporting your own health and happiness. And by the way, with either of these two practices, we're breathing in the nose, and you can either breathe out the nose or the mouth in either case. Okay, I'd like to move on next to the meditation component of Qigong, to a practice often called cloud hands. It is so fundamental to all Tai Chi and Qigong. It's in so many different sequences in both Tai Chi and Qigong. It's also called conserved Qi, so that when we're doing this practice, we can remember kind of the truth of life, that life can get hectic and intense and busy, and all of us form habits. Some serve us, some don't. And so when we do this practice, we want to support wise choosing, that we are making choices that are most likely to support our health and our happiness and our effectiveness in life. So we can call it conserving Qi as well. It's a very meditative set of movements. So I'm going to start off teaching it seated now, and then I'll stand up and we'll do it standing as well. So just to begin with, let's use one hand. I'm going to raise my right hand. You can use your right hand or your left hand if you want to use me as a mirror when we do this. So my right will be your left. So starting off with just one hand, we're going to lower the hand, sort of draw an oval shape. Lower the hand to about belt high, bringing it across the belt, and we're actually turning a bit to your right, and then raising that hand up and turning the hips. And this hand is passing like a cloud in the sky, about chin high. Turn the hips, and then make that oval again. Cross the belt high, turn in the hips. Hand comes up from a lower part of the sky to a higher part of the sky and floats across. Let's do that with our opposite hand. Be my left, your right. Starting right here, about shoulder high. Lower, cross the belt, turn hips, raise the hand, about chin high. Comes across like a cloud in the sky as you turn the hips, making a little oval shape. So to do this with both hands, simply raise both hands up, about shoulder high. Now my left hand is going to be your right. It's going to be stationary for a while here. And then my right, your left, I'm going to do that same drawing of the oval. I'm going to go down, cross belt high, turning my hips, now I'm facing to the right. And then this hand, this left hand comes up, and the two palms are facing each other at one point. At that point, the hand that has been stationary lowers, and the hand that's been moving now is at chin height or so. And then turning the hips, now it's as if we have a lower cloud here and an upper cloud here, and they're just traveling through the sky together. And then once we get to the opposite side, the two hands pass each other, palms facing one another. The hand that was upper is now lower, the lower hand is now upper, and the hips turn, and it's as if two clouds are traveling through the sky, just kind of trading places. Continue. Keep going. If this is new to you, it does require a good deal of concentration, so just a little reminder to keep your breathing flowing easy, naturally. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing as many muscle groups as you can, and still do this movement. Now we'll pause for a minute. We'll do what we call the Tai Chi cross. This is a transition movement. And then just relax your hands down on your thighs or knees. And take a moment just to notice how you're doing. And as I said, learning something new, anything, Qigong included, at first the mind is focusing on learning the steps, the movements, the fundamentals. Later, if you do choose to practice this enough so you have muscle memory and it just becomes natural, you'll see that it becomes a very viable moving meditation and a great way to relax and support the conservation of energy. And then if you take Qigong and Tai Chi classes in the future, this is going to show up in many sequences and you will have it down. All right, let's do this standing. If you didn't get it the first time, here's another shot at that. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Feet parallel if that's comfortable. Allow both hands to float upwards to about shoulder height. My right, your left. Slowly down, sort of drawing a shape of an oval. As that hand comes across about belly button, you'll notice the hips are going to turn just a little, or you're facing off to the right, and that hand then comes up, and the two hands pass each other. The hand that was stationary lowers, and the top hand continues across. Hips turn, relax and breathe. The hands pass one another. The hand that was upper is now lower, and vice versa. Your hands pass each other, palms facing each other, hips just slightly turning, orienting to the opposite side of the room. The two hands pass one another, and as they're traveling across, they're just as if there were two clouds, one high, one low. A couple times without me talking. Relax shoulders, nice flowing breaths. Final one. Tai Chi cross. Take a few seconds just to notice your own precious, beautiful energy right now. So that's cloud hands. And there's a video, just a short 3 or 4 minute video of my teacher, Roger Yanka. Below, if you click on it, he'll be teaching the very same thing I just taught, so you'll have 2 resources. And he goes into a little more detail that you might find interesting and have a little variety in these resources. Okay, we're going to conclude now with something in the self-massage component that's also great for grounding and stress release that I found. It's a resource called Therapy in a Nutshell, I found. And those are little short videos, mostly oriented towards stress reduction and grounding, and just other self-help and tools for well-being. And this one is only 2 minutes long. That's really brilliant. I love it because, you know, we're going to start just with that nice big deep breath flowing in and out before anything else. And next we're going to take a check into how upright we are seated here. Could be standing or seated, but just stretching, having our spine well aligned, lifting up on the vertebra, maybe the chin's tucked in a little. Could even tuck the tailbone under a teeny bit, even while seated, and have a sense of an aligned spine. And when we lift up and align the spine, we're creating, it's just a little, but it has a big effect. It creates more space for the organ systems, including the lungs. So if we can start with the breathing and our alignment, the next part's super easy. It's as if we're giving ourselves a hug. So just cross the hands in front of you and then place the hands, could be on the shoulders, just below the shoulders, or anywhere in the upper arm. And the idea here is called squeeze hug. The idea is to let's just do it gently, squeeze and release. We could coordinate the breathing, so let's breathe in and squeeze. And breathe out and let go. One more of those. Breathe in, squeezing gently. And breathe out, releasing. Now just let your breathing flow in and out, and do a longer squeeze hug where you're not coordinating the breathing. Squeezing in can be gentle or a little more firm. Stay with that, squeezing a little bit. And then when you're ready, just release. just yesterday, getting ready for this class, I tried, really taking a good strong squeeze. And I thought, this could be great if I'm really, challenged with something and I really want to do a release. I could tense all my muscle groups and just really have a nice release, with some sound. So some sound is always great with Qigong practice. So, and remembering, it's called a hug. And so we are just giving ourselves a bit of love and compassion when we're engaging in the squeeze hug. Gentle, sweet, just remembering who we truly are and how deserving we are of goodness, of love, of health, of well-being. One more squeeze in on an in-breath, and then release. Yeah, these Qigong practices for me have become a way of self-care, but really a way of loving myself. And yes, I do have to apply a degree of, let's call it, discipline, but it can be so accessible because we can get huge benefit in short practices, like 10-minute routines, like this one, and momentary methods, like any one of these. And now there are 6 of these videos on the Wellness Within site or on the YouTube channel. That means 24 different practices to choose from and mix and match. So that's an option. This has been delightful for me as always. And as always, I wish you health, happiness, deep fulfillment of life. Wish you safety. And just coming through the Zoomosphere here, sending love. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to be back in about a month to do another one of these or something similar. Goodbye for now.